You know that feeling, right? The calendar flips over to a new year and suddenly there's this powerful urge for a fresh start. We've all been there, that deep desire to make a change, maybe turn a new leaf, and just start a brand new chapter.
But have you ever really stopped to ask why? I mean, why does something as simple as a date on the calendar trigger this massive collective desire for renewal? It's way more than just a tradition, isn't it? It's almost like a weird annual mystery we're all a part of. And today, we're going to try and solve it.
And let's be real, this isn't just some casual thing. When someone makes a sincere New Year's resolution, it's often after some serious self-reflection, sometimes even some real soul-searching. It's this powerful phenomenon that connects people all over the planet.
Okay, so first, let's just look at this New Year urge itself. We all know it. It's that annual itch for change that seems to show up right on cue every single January.
But here's where it gets interesting. This urge isn't just some modern habit we've picked up. It might actually be a clue, pointing to something much, much deeper about being human.
And trust me, this is not just a Western thing. You can look all across the world, all through history. You've got the Chinese New Year, the Islamic Hajri New Year, the Jewish Rosh Hashanah, even ancient animist traditions had cleansing rites. This need for renewal at the start of a new cycle, it seems to be built right into us. It's universal.
So seeing this pattern everywhere raises a really big question. What if this whole thing isn't just about culture? What if that annual urge is actually a trigger, coming from deep inside our own psyche? Like we have some kind of spiritual blueprint?
And that brings us to the core idea we're going to unpack today, this concept of our spiritual DNA.
Now, to get our heads around this, let's start with something we're all familiar with: genetic DNA. It's the blueprint for our physical bodies, right? It decides our eye color, our height, our basic instincts. And the most important part here is that it runs on autopilot. It's what makes a seed automatically grow towards the light. We don't have to think about it. It just happens.
Okay, so now imagine a parallel concept. That's spiritual DNA. It's like a blueprint, but for our inner world. It's supposedly the source of those automatic inner urges we all get. You know, that nagging search for meaning in life, or that natural pull we feel towards things like kindness or justice. It's that little voice in your head we sometimes call intuition.
So let's put them side by side. It makes it super clear. Genetic DNA, it's all about the physical body, running on automatic. Spiritual DNA, it's about our inner spirit, expressing itself as these deep urges. But look at that last row. That's the key difference. While our genes are on autopilot, our spiritual code has a wild card thrown into the mix. And that wild card, that one element that changes the entire game, is what we'll call the free will factor. This is what makes us so unique. We have this incredible gift of free will. It means we get to choose. We can either listen to those positive nudges from our spiritual DNA and develop them, or we can ignore them. We can even choose to act completely against them. And think about how powerful this is. Our spiritual DNA might push us toward humility, right? That desire to serve others. But if we use our free will to be self-centered, that beautiful virtue gets twisted into pride. The same goes for contentment. It can be warped into greed or avarice. And we've all seen this one. Even love, if it's rejected or unfulfilled, can tragically sour into its opposite, hate. Our choices are constantly shaping who we are on the inside.
So this all leads to a pretty big question, doesn't it? If we have these spiritual gifts and the total freedom to shape them, what's the end game? What's the purpose of all these cycles of life? Well, that brings us to the idea of your spiritual harvest.
The parable of the talents has this perfect metaphor for this idea. The message is pretty straightforward. Our spiritual gifts, those virtues we're born with, they're not meant to be buried or ignored. They're meant to be used, to be developed, so they can grow and produce something more. And this development happens inside a bigger framework, sometimes called the law of cycles. The basic idea is that life moves in cycles, just like the seasons. And each cycle, each year, each phase of life is a chance for growth. The law suggests that eventually everything has to return to where it came from. And the condition we're in when we return? Well, that depends entirely on what we did with those spiritual talents.
So really, it seems we're faced with two very different paths. Path one is the path of growth. You use your life cycles to build on your virtues, and you return as a fully developed, conscious spirit. Path two is the path of distortion. You use your free will to create vices, which is said to lead to a kind of disintegration of the personality at the end of the cycle. Two very different outcomes, all based on our choices.
And that brings us right back to where we started. That feeling you get on January 1st, that urge for a New Year's resolution. Maybe it's not just a tradition after all. From this perspective, it's a trigger. It's an automatic annual wake-up call from your spiritual DNA, reminding you that another cycle is starting, and it's time to get to work, time to grow.
So, as you're standing on the edge of your own new cycle, the question isn't just what's your resolution? It's so much deeper. Knowing that every single choice you make is either growing a virtue or distorting it into a vice, what will you choose to grow?